All righty.
That's a lot of.
Good to see everybody here. My name is Sam Wang. I lead sports and entertainment partnerships at Near Foundation. And welcome to this afternoon's panel on the intersection of sports and Web3. Why don't I give an opportunity to each of my panelists here to introduce themselves, their organization, and what they do there. Amr, why don't we start off with you?
Sure. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you very much, everyone, for having me here. It's a great pleasure to be here for the second year in a row in the NEAR conference. My name is Elrawi. I'm a sports marketing director for Oracle. I manage our partnership with SailGP, working very closely with Matt, Oracle Rebel Racing in the F1 and the Premier League. And my core focus is to help our sports partners to improve performance on track, on the sea, and off the pitch and off the track.
Amazing. Thank you to the NEAR Foundation. Thank you to Sam for inviting me. My name is Noah Kline. I'm the CEO and founder of a lovely company called Wincast, and we build B2B sports or B2B infrastructure for interactive experiences for the largest sports leagues in the world. So right now, well, I'll dive into it in a little bit, but we work with NEAR Foundation and we work with the International Cricket Council on a huge activation going on right now, but service a ton of different leagues around the world. You'll see a lot of things next year.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the invitation, Sam, to speak on this panel. My name is Matthew Lord. I'm Director of Technology Development Delivery at SailGP. I work really closely with Emma and the Oracle team and Near and the rest of our technology partners at SailGP to bring new experiences to our fans, but ultimately make SailGP works. Some of you may wonder what SailGP is, and unfortunately I couldn't get a sailing event taking place this weekend, so I thought the best next thing to do was to play a video and show you so you could see what it's like.
And for the first time in SailGP
Is this thing on? Yeah, that's what we call a sizzle reel in the industry, and what a sizzle reel was. Let's do a little icebreaker to get the audience a little bit more familiar with each of you. Matt, why don't I start with you? What's your favorite sport and crypto-related project?
I think for me it was probably Sorare and what we did with sort of giving more utility to NFTs, the whole gamifying of collectibles, making that into like a resource-based game where you could collect things. That's kind of my first foray into that, alongside maybe Top Shots. I think there were things that, as a kid, I loved collecting trading cards and trading with my mates, and used to collect Pokemon cards as a kid as well. So it's kind of felt very kind of a cool Web 2 experience, but then into a Web 3 world that I really felt at home and drew me into the world of Web 3.
Very nice, very nice. Amr or Noah?
Right. I was going to say actually the same about the NBA, but actually I have to say now my favorite is the, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more, the SailGP and Oracle, the doc.
The doc.
The doc.
Everybody download the doc.
And we're going to keep kind of that intriguing to kind of cover it all a little bit later.
Historically, I would say my answer is twofold. One, I appreciate the people that basically dove into the industry first and foremost with NFTs, people like NBA Top Shot or Tops, even Sorare I quite enjoy. And then I'm going to plug Wincast because our whole focus was looking at these people saying, you have created a beautiful digitally native experience that benefits all these fans around the world. How do we take it to the next level? And so that's what our number one focus is, and I'll dive into that in a little bit.
Awesome. And so we mentioned the doc already, and this is a nice segue into question for you, Matt and Amr, which is, can you tell us a little bit more about how Oracle and SailGP are working together to elevate the fan experience, and particularly how you might be using new technologies, whether they're on-chain or off-chain, to achieve that?
Yeah, I can kick it off. I guess Oracle and SailGP have a long history of trying to, I guess, engage a new audience, new fans. Sailing's quite a difficult sport for people to understand. Traditionally, it's always been sort of little white triangles on a blue background, and no one's really sure what's going on. So SailGP is all around inshore, close, high adrenaline racing. And we have created a product called Liveline, which is a augmented reality package that sits on top of our broadcast that basically demystifies the sport of sailing. And that's all powered by Oracle technology. So as an off-chain example, we've really tried to push the boundaries on how do you show a traditional sport to a new audience by creating augmented reality graphics on top of broadcast. But more recently, on an on-train example, is working with Oracle on providing a new fan experience through a fan engagement platform called the Dock. So using traditional Web2 technology within the Oracle world, an identity management solution called IDCS within Oracle, and a product called CrowdTwist, which is a fan loyalty platform, to create a traditional rewards versus an activities and rewards program. But what we're doing to add a little Web3 twist to that is, I'm sure many of you have seen through gaming the concept of battle passes, where people can unlock maybe additional skins or guns and things like that within it. Well, we've done the same, where people have a very similar Web2 experience, but actually end up with a Web3 wallet. And we try to not to use sort of Web3 terminology, so they just get an account and they collect a digital collectible that unlocks additional rewards and experiences for them. And that's been kind of the first gateway for people to experience having a Web3 journey, but kind of in a Web 2.5 experience.
Right.
And if they want to, they can take it off-chain, which is kind of the next sort of iteration, as we reward them with more points and more experiences if they take the next step and actually take the wallet themselves.
Matt, again, one of the things that I really liked about the doc, that it's actually have the key foundational element of fan engagement, I would say in 1.0 of web. Because the thing that sports fan hates the most is that you reward them based on their spend. You spend £1, you get 1 point. And this is many sports brands. I used to work for Tottenham Hotspurs before joining Oracle. Some of the loyalty program that we have seen in Premier League is that you spend £1, you get 1 point. But one of the things that we have done equally as well with Oracle Web Racing and SailGP, which is again the foundational element of building a loyalty program, the more you engage with the sport, the more points you gain. Then SailGP came back with another challenge. Said like, okay, we want even to take that into the next level. We would like that loyalty program to be able to integrate with NFTs. Said like, okay, yeah, fine, I'm sure we can find a way to do it. And then they said, oh, it has to be seamless, like the custodial, non-custodial. So that was kind of one of the key challenges that we were having when we building the doc, is how could we translate that football, like the sports and sailing fandom, into a digital world, but equally as well take them into the journey by having the different layers, because you have the different fans and different audiences, those who are still in Web 1.0 or 2.0, and those who are actually more advanced and you are ready to use NFTs.
Amazing. And this is an opportunity. The doc, or the new SailGP app, launched, I think, a couple of months ago. If you download it from the App Store, there are, I want to say, 7 QR codes located around the conference. Scan those, earn some points, get involved. It's pretty cool.
Collect some Encom.
Yeah.
That's what you get as rewards.
That's right. Noah, the next question is for you. Can you give us an overview of how Wincast has worked with the International Cricket Council to create something like Captain's Call? Did you uncover anything in the development process that's given you new insight into what it takes to be successful in building a blockchain-based sports offering?
Absolutely. So Captain's Call, for the record, is a pre-game predictive strategy game where you're basically setting your strategy saying, I think my team's going to succeed in bowling, batting, or fielding. And for people who don't understand cricket, you're just looking at things on the field and saying, will my team succeed? And in doing so, you gain points, it increases engagement, it gets people to watch it for longer. Something that's interesting about this in particular is it actually gets the ICC closer to the fan, because a user is able to go on their existing flows. They're able to go into the applications that they love. They're able to go on the Cricket World Cup website. And our game, our technology powers a game right now where all you have to do is include your email, or if you already have an ICC account and you click our game, we're automatically passed an authentication token, and we open up a near wallet for you. And something that's interesting about this is that it served a need to create a compelling Web3 experience that isn't just riddled with these barriers to entry. We're not telling you, hey, go download or go open a wallet, go buy some Ethereum. How do you explain that to your grandmother, right? What we're saying is we can build a better experience that's user experience first. We can figure out the monetization afterwards. We can figure out how to just really crank this out. But first and foremost, something that we focused on specifically, especially in our focus groups and our testing, was how do you make something that people actually want to play? I think that's the number one issue, and something that a lot of these existing platforms are running into, because they're saying, cool, well, you can buy and sell branded IP, and that's like pretty much the extent of kind of Web3 technology within sports licenses right now. Obviously, there's a few exceptions, but from a high level. So for us, we were saying, well, look, there's all these people that are excited about these sports, excited about the ownership aspect of this. How do we take it to the next level, right? We meet the fans where they are. And the number one thing for us is what we realized, and through plenty of iterations, we did a launch with Dapper Labs and Sony TV for the NBA Finals in June. And what we realized in that experience was that if you meet the fans where they are, if you're advertising on their smart TVs, if you're advertising through their fan accounts, like where they're getting information from Dapper Labs, they're more inclined to actually interact with it, as opposed to this random Web3 company saying, like, go buy our NFTs or go download this, right? So what we learned with ICC, and 275,000 players later, we've confirmed, or we still have a few weeks left, but we've confirmed this so far, is that if you give a good user experience to the fans where they're already engaging with their favorite sports, you see phenomenal engagement. You see a more willingness to, let's say, enter your email, open a wallet, interact with the partners, and so on. And we will continue to do that. So we have a few things for next year where we're tying into smart TV technology so that we can read what's happening on screen. We have an opportunity to tap into broadcast so we can read advertising, brand activations, things like that. The number one thing, though, that we're focused on is this exciting to fans? At the end of the day, if I wouldn't use this app, I wouldn't be building this app. And as someone who just learned what cricket was in the last year, let me rephrase that, the rules of cricket, I'm excited about this, and I like the validation that we're getting from the market so far.
I hope everyone is following. We're moving from sailing to football to cricket, so I just keep the pace with us, guys.
There's like 6 or 7 more abstract sports we're going to toss out.
But again, just interesting, like you see that there are so many commonalities between the different sports and the challenges that we face between each of the the leagues and the sports and the team. As we were talking earlier, it's just very similar as well.
Yeah, and let's talk about macro trends across the entire sports landscape. This is a question for all of you. What do you think what's your current perspective of the state of fan engagement, and which leagues or rights holders do you think are doing things differently or more uniquely, whether it's SailGP or ICC or another league?
Okay, let me get started. Again, there is a different. Firstly, let's kind of think about each. Again, SailGP compared to Rebel Racing or the F1 in general, there is a really unique. And again, we were talking about this earlier, Sam. Is in SailGP they are kind of leveling the battlefield, if you can say, and just kind of all the athletes have all the access to the data, compared to the F1 where each of the team have to do their own data analysis. They need to come up with a race strategy. It's kind of thinking about it from an open data source versus a closed data source. But what we have seen, that's one thing, and again, we can talk a little bit more about the differences between each of the sports. But what was very interesting in terms of technology, what is allow like athletes and celebrities to have direct access to fans. That gives a different perspective in terms of the engagement of the fans with the sports, because you got the characters and you start to see the personality of those athletes who start building relationship with those fans. And that creates a different level of interaction, which is, again, that level of interaction could be translated in the NFT and Web 3.0.
Yeah, something that's interesting about the sports market as a whole is it's spectator sports is a very rapidly growing industry, and the difficulty in this from a B2B perspective is that the rights for these broadcasts for these different licenses are continually increasing because live sports are basically the last vestige of live TV that's still engaging. And so for us, when we are partnering with a sports league, whether it's NBA, whether it's ICC, and in this case ICC, they're saying, well, we have a global network of fans. We have people that will come into this application to our properties, no matter what country they're from, and we want a way to connect with them that's direct, right? How do we create the baseline for a fan's experience across every aspect of their journey, whether it's the advertising, whether it's the actual gameplay, just even saying, oh, I like this team, right? So for us, the focus is to kind of skip all of the different layers, whether it's the data side or the gambling side or the broadcast side, and we're basically saying to these leagues, connect with your fans directly and give them something they love, and they're yours forever. So that's a big focus.
I think for me it's all about personalization. How do you make the experience personal to that individual fan? What do they want from it? How do they get closer to the athletes, the team? And you know, that's some of the stuff that we're really working towards, is to create that direct affinity fandom within it. And I guess something that we're trying to do, you know, SailGP have opened up our participation agreement, which is what all teams sign up to allow a DAO to form and participate. And you know, a DAO is create a team that will compete within our league, and in some ways a DAO is ultimate fandom, right? That's, you know, you really showing that you want to be part of a team is by owning a team and having a say within that team. And I think that's where we're trying to change the DAO slightly, similar to how other sports properties like Link's DAO have tried to are doing as well.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think it's all about collapsing the distance between the fan and the athletes or the rights holder. And whether that technology is crypto, AI, or something else, I think it's all in service of that destination. So I think with the remaining time that we have, let's speed run through kind of like what we have left. Let's talk about the future. Matt, what are you most excited about with respect to SailGP over the next 12 months? Is there any sort of like alpha you can leak or share with the audience here?
Well, we're excited. No, this season 4 has been our biggest season. With, you know, for those who saw me on the scissor reel, we've got 10 teams, 13 events, and we're hoping for season 5 that's going to grow and be bigger. But what I really look forward to seeing is, you know, how can working with Near, Oracle, and potentially other partners in the future, how can we reimagine fan experience and the fan engagement platform? And I'm really excited to see what we can do as a partnership group to get fans closer to sport and engage fans in a different way.
Great. And Amr, can you tell us a little bit more about how Oracle's working on the future of the fan experience?
As we were talking, I think even before getting into the stage, we understand and we know that the fandom behaviors are changing. Fans does not want to be passive audience to consume sports. They want the interaction that you're offering. They want the interaction from the data that Oracle are presenting with Liveline in the SailGP kind of broadcast. They want the ability to see the game from different angles, from the athletes. I mean, again, I don't know if you guys have seen Ben Foster when he had the GoPro camera in the last, I mean, again, if somebody's watching Wrexham and the documentary, it's so cool. This is a change in the fandom. And again, from an Oracle perspective, technology and data is an enabler, but equally as well, when we work with SailGP, when we work together with Sam, when we work with Premier League, Oracle Red Bull Racing, they push us, we push them. We want to keep pushing the boundaries in order to deliver an immersive fan experience that is able to connect with those fans, no matter who they are, no matter where they are, and no matter what their age they are on.
Amazing. And Noah, question for you.
Yes.
Captain's Call, your partnership with the ICC. How do you think that's going to evolve over the next 12 to 24 months? And how do you intend to reach a bigger audience in terms of distribution and marketing?
Great question. So over the next 12 months, we will be launching version 2 of our game, which will include live in-game play. So right now it's just pre-predictive, but imagine, you know, in June, the T20 World Cup is happening in the US and the Caribbean. Games in T20 in that format last about 3.5 hours. How do you keep a fan engaged for the entirety of that? How do you give them bite-sized moments of like just overwhelming dopamine right across that? So that's what we're going to be launching. We're going to have a ton of different connections on the NFT side of things, the loyalty side of things, and something that I think is brilliant when it comes to the distribution side, not to toot our own horn, but Again, meeting fans where they are at the end of the day is the focus. So we're building a lot of different rails into streaming providers, into smart TV platforms, and so on, so that we can create digitally native experiences where the fans are. And to your point, the only way to interact with live sports right now is through fantasy or gambling. And at the end of the day, you're ignoring a large market of people that are quote unquote sports light, right? These are people that are excited about sports or around sports but have no idea what's actually going on. How do you get someone comfortable with this in kind of a non-invasive way where we're not saying, give us your credit card, you know, you might win money. So that's a huge focus, and I think that seeing how that evolves not only with our company but the broader market, I think is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see, and I'll leave this with a parting thought that comes from, there's an old Steve Jobs quote where he says, start with the customer experience and work your way backwards to the technology, and I think that's what we're all trying to do up here on the stage. So thank you for tuning in. Watch this space. There's a lot of exciting things coming down the pike, so thanks a lot, and thank you to the panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Cheers.